Protective factors and resilience are key contributors in suicide prevention. Indigenous youth in Canada have greater risk factors and lower resilience than the general population. Suicide prevention strategies aim to increase hope, resilience, and support, and to decrease risk factors in their participants. Hope is a key contributor in mental health and well-being for at-risk youth. Youth at risk of suicide in Indigenous communities who have hope that they can improve their situation and believe that they have the knowledge and skills necessary to do so may experience suicidal ideations but will not engage in suicidal behavior. Social supports such as friends, family, extended family, teachers, guidance counselors, and leadership figures within a community promote healthy coping strategies and increase hopefulness in at-risk youth. Approaches to suicide prevention within Indigenous communities should be youth-centered and based within their unique cultural context when attempting to create suicide prevention programs for youth. Evidence-based practice may be the best resource on paper when designing a suicide prevention strategy, but in Indigenous communities, a culturally informed lens is one of the most important contributors to successful suicide prevention interventions. Um, these situations are complex and they call for culturally informed interventions. These unique interventions are necessary within these communities because Indigenous perspectives on health are divergent from the mainstream perspective on health. The Indigenous perspective on health and well-being is holistic and it is tied to the land, whereas the mainstream perspective does not necessarily feature those important factors. In some cases, there may be shame attached to seeking help around mental health or mental illness, and having a support person or outreach person who is aware of the nuances of that culture is going to make rapport building and access more approachable for people within that community. Uh, all suicide intervention programs are client focused and they are unique because they are addressing all of the factors that are centered around that client and their needs. In these situations, clients have to disclose personal and sensitive information to their support person in order to have a successful intervention that addresses these issues for them. And this means that the support person should be well versed in their culture and the factors that occur within this culture that are going to influence this person's success or potentially their lack of success. So, having that information about the culture and the history and potentially even some language is going to increase the level of understanding and comfort when a participant needs to disclose all of those sensitive personal items. As of today, research is ongoing to build an evidence-based practice body for the intervention of suicide prevention in Indigenous youth, and further studies need to be completed before a strong body of evidence-based practice can be drawn upon for all future interventions in suicide prevention for Indigenous youth.